Once upon a time, in Storybook Ending, Viola heard a spooky moan in the library. She immediately assumed it was related to the next manifestation, but couldn't find anything when she looked. Tabs went on an adorable date with Tom, in which the latter asked the former a little bit about their less than modern clothing and their lack of money. Margie began a town hall meeting to discuss the mayoral race and the magic now in Fox Jumps. John Noble interrupted and showed off his own new magic, telling Margie that they both have a friend up above. Hello and welcome to Storybook Ending. My name is Loxley, I'm your keeper of stories, and I use VVer or they-them pronouns. With me today is Addie.
Hi, I'm Addie. I play the character Margie, and we both use she/her pronouns.
I also have Danny with us.
Hi, my name is Danny. I use she/her pronouns, and I'm playing Viola Thomas, who also uses she/her pronouns.
And lastly, we have Killian.
Hi, I'm Killian. I use they/them pronouns, and I play Tabitha, who uses he/they pronouns.
I think we open on the town hall. There are many faces in here, some familiar, some not. And all eyes are turned on one of two figures. Some are looking at Margie, the local do-it-all business owner who runs a taco truck in a bed and breakfast / bar / tavern / inn, and does handiwork and does magic and does so many other things for this town. A real woman of the people. The rest are looking at John Noble, the local real estate magnate, who is now dressed in very fancy royal garb, still glittering with golden energy and light. We see these two facing off from across the town hall. One of them on the platform, the other just inside the door. And then the tension breaks. What do you do?
Margie looks at John Noble, and she's like, John Noble, did you happen to forget what sort of government we're running here? What is that? King's garb? This ain't England.
John Noble says, "Oi, bro, in it." No, he does not. He does not say that.
In fact, since 1776, we have not been British. So how about you go back out and change? Cause if you're gonna run for mayor, not monarch, you gotta take this shit seriously. Like, what is this? It's not a costume party, John Noble.
He just sort of scoffs at you. And he holds up a hand and snaps, and the royal garb on him fades away as his spell ends. And he's back in his regular suit and tie. But he simply says, "It was simply a demonstration that magic does not need to be clumsy and inept, as you were showing the crowd it must be. Rather, it can be elegant and effective."
How would you know what I showed the crowd? You weren't even here.
Yeah, no, I was going to point that out. It does imply that he was, like, watching through the window.
While the two of them are up there arguing, Viola has sort of slipped in amongst the crowd,
Okay.
and is sort of planting little seeds of thought among people. I think she probably starts with Jojo.
Okay.
Let's go.
Isn't it interesting that as soon as John Noble has any hint of power, he goes straight to complete power? I don't know if I'd want him running things. I've got the feeling that would be the last election we'd ever have.
Are you trying to do this like subliminally with magic, or are you just saying this to Jojo?
Oh no, this is her just pointing out the hypocrisy and, yeah.
Her concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if she wasn't Margie's friend, this would be very concerning. Seeing someone go from saying that you shouldn't be using magic, look at what have you done with it, you're just ruining everything with it, whereas look at me, I can make myself in charge of everything. She's pointing out exactly what he's demonstrated. She's just making it much more obvious.
Yeah, I didn't have many rolls last session for convincing, but we do have that progress track. As a reminder, we are currently at Margie with 5 on the mayoral candidacy track, and John Noble with 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think we're going to start having that kind of, since you've done the crowd work on both sides to kind of get the crowd warmed up and receptive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will start off with Margie rolling here. Sorry, not Margie. Sorry, Viola will roll here.
Okay.
And see if her crowd work is received well. I do think it's funny that you're starting with Jojo, because like it's not some random citizen who's, going to be unfamiliar with this race. This is someone you know well and have worked with before.
Right. But she's spoken with him specifically because he is law enforcement in this town.
That's true.
And as such is respected as someone who understands laws despite Margie's
Yeah, despite Margie's everything.
earlier points about some laws being dumb. But there's a difference between like not wanting to prosecute a kid for vandalism and letting someone seize absolute power.
No, that is fair. That is fair.
So that's why she went with the police officer.
So yeah, I think it'll just be, for this one, it'll be an average difficulty of 4. What are you rolling with?
Reason, because she's going with the logic explanation.
Mm-hmm.
She's not
Makes sense.
trying to be passionate, she's trying to explain it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I figured. So go ahead and roll your 5d6.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
2 4s, a 3, and 2 5s.
Okay, yeah, that is 4 progress on the track.
Yay!
Sheesh. This is kind of an overarching roll. I'm not going to make you roll per comment.
Okay.
What is the sort of, is that the sort of just for all of them, or are you kind of varying things up with different arguments per?
That's pretty much going to be the same argument that she's going to use, because it really feels like it's obviously her biggest concern is that he has just proven that when he gets power, he's just going to take all the power because he wants to be in charge. He doesn't seem to want to make things better. He just wants to be the one in charge.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Jojo looks at you a bit oddly at first, but he does sort of nod along. He's like, yeah, no, that is a good point. And he's sort of quietly talking as Margie and John Noble are doing what they're doing. And he's like, we've seen with like the witch and all that, when she got power, that it went downhill real fast. So, yeah.
Exactly. I honestly, because he went straight to being a king, I don't think this is going to go well for us if he ends up being elected.
Yeah.
Us being anyone in the town.
Yeah, no. And I think you get similar sentiments with 4 successes. I think you get similar sentiments from all over the crowd as John Noble, even after putting away his king's garb, has, hey, did you trick me into casting Crown? Was that a dupe? Did you have this planned out from the start?
Nope.
Nope.
No? Okay. I guess that's fine then. I just
Nope, that's just his personality, man.
no, you're right.
That's just his personality. He got distracted by the shiny.
He got distracted by the shiny. I love it.
He did.
It's so good.
Okay, yeah. While Viola is sort of sowing these seeds against John Noble in the crowd, what is Tabitha doing, if anything?
Oh god. I feel like he's kind of just lost at all of this, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think because you were up by the stage to pull Margie down last time we saw you, and Tom was also up on the stage. I think Tom, if you're not doing anything in particular, kind of steps closer to you. He's like, hey, do you know how John Noble got magic again?
Not a clue. The last time we spoke, it didn't seem like he had anything to his name. I've only ever seen him cast a spell, like, twice now. And that was whenever he had a book in his hand. I don't know what he pulled from here.
Oh, great. This is, and he looks at you, and there is genuine fear in his eyes. Not like nervousness or anxiety or worried that he's going to get caught tagging a building, but like actual fear. And he says, he hates me, and now he can cast magic.
I highly doubt that he would ever go after you with this magic, Tom. But you do know that if he did ever come after you, you have three speakers with magic to back you now. We won't let that happen.
He, just for the hell of it, I'll have you roll as well, just to see if you get through to Tom.
Oof.
And kind of calm him down here. What would you like to roll here?
I have 2 reason. I feel like that works best.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Okay.
Just an average difficulty of 4.
Okay,
Hey!
cool. Let's go.
That
2
is 2
4s.
4s. Yeah. I think Tom sort of calms down and he gives you a very weary smile. He says, yeah, I guess that's true. You got my back.
We do. We won't let anything happen to you.
That's good to hear. And we will cut over to Margie. Margie, John Noble's attention is still pretty fully focused on you. He's still got that devilish grin.
What have you done for the community since mastering this magic, John Noble? Since you were calling to me to do some good, but I already told you I had to make sure I understood exactly what I was doing. Seems like you understood what you were doing, so what have you contributed? I would love to know your plans.
He sort of shrugs and he looks kind of dismayed and he says, unfortunately, I have only had this power for a much shorter amount of time. I was not blessed with this advanced magic like you. I've had to work for mine, and I'm still equally learning to do it, but clearly I am already far past your level. So just imagine
So
what
why
I
are
could
you
do with
acting
such
humble
power.
now? Yeah, no, I'm not going to do your job for you. I'm not imagining. You should be imagining yourself and share with the class. Because, if we're going to vote for you, what are we voting you for? Oh, woe is me! Woe is me! I had to spend such little time mastering, but I'm so far ahead of everybody! Oh, boo-hoo! That's what you sound like, John. So I'm so sorry that I don't think that you're taking this seriously. Sit your ass down, cause I'm the one who called this town meeting on a very reasonable day, like Saturday, and not Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Sit down, John Noble. Please. I invite you.
He's gonna cast a second spell, because he doesn't want to let you have the better of things.
Oh.
And he shoots an icicle at you, and it stabs you. Rah! No, that's not true.
Oh my god.
I've been trying to figure out what he would cast here. The problem is not that John Noble does not know what he wants to do. It's that Loxley does not know what John Noble knows that he wants to do. Because I don't know shit about mayoral elections and what would actually be effective here.
I don't know either, dude. I'm literally just...
Everyone's panicking.
Everyone's panicking.
We're just like, why did the mayor quit? No.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to know why the mayor quit? The spell he's going to cast is going to be cast with... No. Let's do Reason. Let's just do Reason. He has fewer dice than that, but he'll be rolling 2d6 for Reason. And the goal of the spell before I roll is to fix up the town hall and make it a lot nicer. I haven't really described it much. It's not, like, dilapidated by any means, but it is definitely an older building that could use some fixer-upping, whatever the word is. So he's going to, again, it's mostly a, like, surface-level aesthetic change, but he is going to be trying to do that as something that is, like, obviously showing, like, I'm literally improving the town. Oh my god. No, he's not. I got 3 letters. It's a W, an N, and a J.
Oh. Holy shit.
Okay.
So, could do JW for Jehovah's Witness.
JN for John Noble.
John Noble.
Oh my god.
J.N.
WJN for a misspelled win.
Oh my god. What is his name? What is his middle name? Would it be fucking...
John?
Is it John Noble?
We can't have 2 JoJos, guys. We really can't.
I was just asking, were you referring to John?
Yes.
Oh, that makes way more sense. Let's say his middle name is Victor. John Victor Noble. Because I think that's funny that he's the Victor.
Ruining victors for me, man.
So, I know that's not a W name, but I can't think of many W names. So, yeah, I don't think he's able to cast anything. In fact, I think he kind of flounders here as he tries to call the magic to his aid, and nothing seems to happen. In fact, actually, I don't usually roll for NPCs besides directly against or defending against others, but I'm gonna roll something to see this. Okay, he did get a 4. Yeah, I think the magic, there's nothing like visually there. He just kind of holds his arms out and snaps, and nothing happens, and the crowd looks kind of confused, like, it must be a really subtle magic, which isn't really what he was going for before. And Samantha says, I don't think he cast anything. And the crowd is just sort of not like turning against him, but confused. For a second, he seems to panic, but he realizes that there's no visual indicator of what's going on. So he sort of calms down and he says, like I said, I have not had this magic for long, but I have plans. And I don't want to promise anything that I cannot uphold, but I promise this. I will do everything in my vast amount of power to help this town, to shape it into the city I know it can be.
City you know it could be? Where do your citizens fit into that?
They are the lifeblood of this town, of course. Fox Jumps would not be anything without each and every one of you. Although, perhaps not you. And he looks at Margie.
Really big words for somebody who likes to increase rent and driving people out of this town, accusing a pretty active contributor to making the magic of Fox Jumps. And I don't mean literal magic, I mean, haven't I poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this place? John Noble, maybe you should just stay in your imagination and try to figure out if you're the right guy for the job. Okay? Because believe it or not, we have more things on the agenda for this town meeting than just proving magic exists. Alright?
he puts his hand to his chest, kind of aghast, and he says, "Why, Margie? It is not up to me to decide whether I'm the right man for this job. It is up to all these fine people in this town hall and the rest of town. You accuse me of pretending to be a monarch."
I said up to the job. Alright? Now we can argue all day long about semantics and language, but again, I got shit on the agenda for this town hall. I'm not gonna waste any more time, other people's precious time, arguing with you over nothing.
Very well. Perhaps we should argue about the important things. And he walks towards the stage as if he is going to get up there and hold the town hall with you.
Margie continues on, so he's gonna have to just stand there by the stage and not be invited up.
Okay.
And she's gonna go back to the stabbing, actually, because
Oh my god, she starts stabbing everyone, and John Noble says,
No.
"Look, she's the stabber!"
no.
No.
And she goes, "We are very fortunate to have a pharmacy right in town. Hello, Samantha, our most beloved pharmacist here, who takes care of a lot of our medical needs. I'm so sorry to say, but I am gonna continue speaking about myself, and I'm sure many of you have shared this experience, but it's a shame that we have to go out of town for our healthcare and medical needs. Thankfully, my stabbing was not lethal. As I demonstrate to you today, I'm still alive and kicking. Haha. But still, it was still frightening to wait for another town's ambulance to come find me in Fox Jumps. And so that was one of the things I wanted to stress, because while we are a community who love each other and who like to take care of each other, well, we're down a few resources, unfortunately. And that's kind of like where she kind of kicks off. She's addressing like personal stuff that she's witnessed, like what can this town really benefit from, like fucking hospital for one, you know. And Margie would know because she visits so many people in their neighborhoods, because she's a male person and stuff.
For sure.
Honestly, I'm so over talking about mayoral stuff. I'm just gonna let it fade to black with this with this healthcare shit.
I was gonna say I'm trying to decide if John Noble would jump on that, but I imagine you don't really let him.
No.
All right. I do think at some point he does sort of announce that he wants to continue holding town halls each weekend to let someone else have the floor rather than just Margie Gloucester type thing.
Yeah, that's a point of the town hall system, bud. You call for a town hall.
Really, because I can't help but notice that you have been holding the microphone the entire time, not letting go of it once.
Yeah, because I told this town hall. Remember last town hall that you called, where you had the microphone the whole time? Because you called it. That's the process. That's the process. And she kind of makes like a what the fuck kind of face and like gestures to John Noble as she's like looking at the audience, and she's like, can you believe this guy? Like, he literally just forgot how hosting town halls work.
He says, "Mom says it's my turn with the microphone." And he makes grabby hands.
Yeah, she's not really saying that, but she's like, bro, I called this town hall. Yeah, I'm gonna hold the microphone. That's if Edward wants to call a town hall, he's gonna be the one holding the microphone. Like, that's how it works. It's not just mayoral candidates anyway. But yeah. The Fox Jumps is so fucking weird.
Yeah. Okay.
You can tell that none of us are real life politicians.
No, and that's probably for the best.
No, I know. I'm
no.
like, yeah. This is so messy.
But to be fair, most real-life politics don't involve wizards that use word power for spells.
That
No.
is also true.
Hey, thanks for listening to Storybook Ending. If you're enjoying the story, why don't you leave a rating and review? You don't have to, but John Noble got a devilish grin when I asked what he would do if you didn't. You should also share the show with friends and family. Word of mouth, as you probably know by now, is the best way to spread media you enjoy. If you want to make new friends who already know the show, join us on The Actual Place. It's an awesome Discord server with a community of actual play creators and fans, where you can chat with the cast of Storybook Ending, along with other listeners. Now, the next episode should be out April 16th. For the time being, enjoy the last few minutes of this episode. I think the town hall eventually wraps up. John Noble did not go his way, necessarily. He did not get as much of the attention as he wanted, and he did not get to use his magic as much as he wanted. But I think eventually it does have to end, because, not everyone is content to just sit there and listen to you two argue for hours. Are you three sticking together as you leave, or do you sort of go your separate ways? I'm sure, I don't want to assume, but I figure Margie might stick around to talk to people more one-on-one, maybe, or how do you think that looks like?
Oh, she's definitely sticking around. She's definitely sticking around. She also she's like, come on, Tom, if you're truly serious about running, which I'm really surprised that he hasn't dropped out yet, because he literally does not have to be Margie's running mate. He does not have to do that. But yeah. Honestly, for the next session, Margie's gonna have a word with Tom and be like, listen, bro, you either do your part or we gonna part ways.
No.
I do think, actually, and to his credit, he was encouraged by Tabitha's comments. I do think he sticks around with you and is... he's still a pretty shy person, but he's trying his best to be more outgoing and shake hands and do the whole meet and greet thing with you.
Yeah, we're trying to reform his image, alright? He's not a delinquent, he's just an artist.
He doesn't even pickpocket anyone as he shakes their hands.
Exactly.
Not anyone that you see.
But yeah.
Okay. What about Viola? Is she sticking around as well, or does she head out?
Once she has spoken to a few more people and planted that same seed of maybe John Noble isn't the one who should be trusted with this amount of power, she'll head out.
Okay. And Tabitha, what about you?
Might be seeing if you can corner John Noble.
Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think...
Oh.
Maybe surprisingly, John Noble does not stick around to chat with everyone. You might sense a slight air of frustration coming off of him, but he pretty immediately turns and walks out the door. And do you follow him then?
Yep.
Okay, I think you follow him out of the town hall, and he's walking towards the castle, which, isn't surprising. But he actually kind of glances each way. He doesn't seem to notice you. But he turns past the castle into the alleyway next to it. Despite the midday sun being overhead, the alleyway is sort of dark and shadowy. And when you turn the corner, he is standing in the shadows, just kind of facing into the darkest part of them.
Could I maybe do a spell of my own to make it so that I'm sneaky, rogue kind of like a rogue moment of trying to be utterly silent and kind of sneak closer,
To eavesdrop?
Yeah, because I want to do it magically so that there's a little bit more of a failsafe.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. I like that. Are you using an existing spell, or do you want to... I guess none of your existing spells make too much sense except maybe Fox?
I feel like a red fox just sitting behind him is gonna be.
Yeah,
not what
no,
I
you're
want.
right. I was thinking like
Uh.
paw pads might be quieter than shoes or whatever, but yeah, let's go ahead and cast a new spell. What impulse would you like to cast with?
Probably scheme.
Makes sense.
I think that makes the most sense. Alright.
I think this is kind of the poster child example of a scheme roll.
Oh, rats.
E-I-R-I-O.
I know! I was thinking the same thing!
That's a lot of R's and
I'm so down for
I.
suggestions, by the way. Because... What? This is devastating.
Could you do rain to create like the gentle sounds of rain to distract from your presence?
I feel like that's not exactly it, though.
Oh, you could do near, right? N-E-A-R to get near to him without, get closer.
I feel like that's probably the best we're gonna do.
Yeah, fair.
Uh...
There are a lot of repeat letters in here.
No, yeah. It's just...
Hear me out. Noir, and it turns black and white, and you're smoking a cigar and I almost said eating a glass of whiskey.
crunching down on that glass.
Oh god.
Ugh. I would so do that if I could, though, because, like, with it being so shadowy and dark, it kind of fits, but you wouldn't know what a noir film is.
No, for sure not.
That's devastating, especially because they're a detective thing, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Ugh. Let's just do near.
Near? Okay, what does this spell
Yeah.
look like?
Probably ducks back around the corner of the building to cast it, so there's not the glimmer in the entryway, and then probably has, like, a veil of this magic wash over him, kind of shielding him from, like, being hurt or like, seen, maybe, at certain angles.
Okay.
I don't want it to be, like, super, like, he's invisible, and you can't hear him, because I don't want it to be, like, OP, but, like, that's
Right.
what I'm trying to get at.
Just sort of the opposite of the usual golden glow, so it's diverting attention away from him instead of drawing it towards him.
Yeah.
Alright, I dig that.
Like camouflage type thing?
Yeah, camouflage. Yeah, I think that works. And I think it's enough for you to get near enough that you hear not only John Noble, but you hear the whispers speaking to him from the shadows. You hear John Noble saying, "It did not go as planned, but that is fine. We have plenty of time. I will learn more about this magic." And then he's cut off, and you hear, "You should have done better the first time. Was I wrong to choose you, Jonathan Noble?" As the antagonist reveals itself to John Noble and Tabitha Thomas.
Ooh. I love that so much. This is so funny. That's like 2 straight episodes of queer people struggling hard to politic. And then bam, a reminder of the show we're actually listening to.